You are very inappropriate.
I like being inappropriate.
Broadscast is entertaining.
Come on, if I can't mess with you, this is not going to be fun.
Broadscast is thought-provoking.
That is a riveting revelation, Ms. Goldman.
Broadscast is unexpected.
Who do you like better, the person that people think you are or the actual you?
Oh, God.
Because they're nothing alike.
Broad topics, broad minds, broad hosts, but not just for broads.
We are man-friendly.
I hope to be.
I am man-friendly. I can't say the same about Kim. Wait, that sounded bad.
This is Broadscast with Kim Goldman and Jackie McDougall.
Welcome to Broadscast.
Hi.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
We're
Hi.
man-friendly. I'm checking your mic. She gets all freaked out when I turn on our headphones.
Well, because I'm hearing voices in my head, and I really swore off that many years ago.
That was your New Year's resolution.
No, I don't do resolutions, remember?
Welcome to everybody. It's Friday the 13th. We are live.
Ooh.
Unless you're hearing this later. And then we're not live, and it's not.
Well, we're
Friday
still
the 13th.
live. You're just listening to it later.
But we're live, so you know. I guess you get the best of both worlds. You can listen to this whenever you want.
Okay.
However,
so we've talked
you get the
about
live,
right? But we've talked about this before on the show that when you say certain things, like my mind goes to other places. So you just said the best of both worlds. I immediately went to a Van Halen concert in my head. Yeah. You get the best of. I'm sorry, I can't help it. I
thought you were going to go to Hannah Montana.
Oh God.
So anyway, hey, so Broadscast today is brought to you by Audible.com. Did you know, Kim, you can get a free audiobook download and a free month of Audible, which is awesomeable. No, that was sad.
That was really bad.
At audibletrial.com/broadscast. You can get Kim's book.
Oh my gosh.
Which she reads herself.
I did.
Or you could get like one of the several guests we've had on our show who have books over there. But also, I mean, if you're listening to this, maybe you're on the radio, maybe you're in your car, maybe you're bathing the kids, maybe you're, well, actually, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it around the kids necessarily, but you're out and about, you're doing your thing. So if you're able to listen to this and have that flexibility, you have no idea how great it is to be able to listen to books when you don't, if you're anything like me, you've got a pile of what I like to call coasters on the bedside table.
I have that.
The nightstand. Yeah. And I have all the best intentions. But
yeah, I mean, I will admit I have not partaken in the audible.com as of late. Many like a year ago I did. I don't find the time usually, but I do find that I can make time to have something playing, and I really had to train myself how to listen, you know, because I'm pretty tactile. So Audible actually taught me how to pace myself and to listen and I don't know.
Well, even I have to go like 10 minutes up the street to pick up my junior high kid, and between the 10 minutes waiting in the line for another 10, and then I'll turn it off. So there's 20 minutes right there. So sometimes I'm able to get a chapter in. And it just kind of feels like it's a break from the day, and I'm getting, So anyway, audibletrial.com/broadcast. And if you're new, we're also over on Patreon, which is so fish out of water for us. Like, that is out of our comfort zone. But we made a cool little video, and you can support the show in so many different ways. So Patreon is patreon.com/broadcast. And you can support the show. We would love that. So give it a try. So anyway.
I have a question.
Yes.
So how often do you get massages?
With happy endings?
Yeah. No. How often do you get massages?
Not as often as I talk about getting massages.
Okay. So when you do get massages, do you like a male or a female?
A male.
How come?
100%.
Why?
Because I like I don't know, it's all about the strokes. I mean, no, but like, I think a guy, for me, like I've had a few experiences with women where they tend to be a little bit more, like pushing in with the thumb. Like, I like it like long strokes. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That put me to sleep. Like, I want you to work stuff out, but I don't want to be poked. I don't want to be. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't. So there have been women who've been amazing, but I find sometimes that their fingers, maybe because their hands are smaller, that it's just.
So I had a massage the other day because I've been having these horrible back pains, and I went to a place I'd never been to. I didn't know anything about, no recommendations. I just, it turns out that I, in hindsight, knew the owner just because of Facebook. I ended up knowing who the owner was. Went to the guy, and he, as he was walking out of the room, he says, I've never worked on you before, but I just want to let you know that I work on your glutes. I was like, okay, like, this is cool. So the massage is happening, and like when you're on the table and you have the sheet over you, there are times where I'm like, is the sheet covering me? Because
oh my God.
I'm not exactly sure
I
where
think
it
I
is.
even know where you went. I'm not going to say it on the air.
No, we can talk about it. But let me tell you, preface this by saying it was amazing.
Yeah.
But I was having this experience going, I think I'm covered up.
Yeah.
And oh my God, there's hands on my tushy.
Yeah.
Oh my God, there's hands. Oh, there's
Did
hands
you
on my
wonder at times, like, I want to look to see where the hands are because I can't tell by the
I can't
feeling.
tell where they are because everything was working at the same time.
I
and then there
totally
was,
think I know who this
and then
is.
there was a rock. There was some stones involved.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, shush, we can talk about it later. And I literally was like, I don't know. I don't think I care. That was sort of how I felt. Like, I think I'm spread eagle right here, and I don't think I'm caring. Please move to the other. I mean, it was and I kept thinking, I'm not sure if I'm uncomfortable. It was such a bizarre situation.
Yes.
And then I got twisted and turned and everything. And then a couple times, like there was an adjustment to the sheet. So like the tuck, like
yes.
the rub, like the roll and tuck thing. I was in the rub and tuck. But I literally the entire time I was like, and then I flipped onto my back, and then the hand started on my chest.
Yes.
And then I'm like, are you touching my boob? Like, I feel something in between, and I'm very small. So I was like, I don't know where my boob is in this scenario. It felt amazing. And
I really hope that my husband is listening to this because I've had this exact same conversation, and I swear to you, I must know who this person is because I've had the exact same where there's a line and you're not sure if it's being crossed.
I had no idea.
And you're like, I really need to peek. And then you're like, but I don't want this to stop.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I was like, I think I'm uncomfortable, but keep going. And then I kept thinking,
but it never does cross the line.
No, of course not. That's what I'm saying. It was amazing, totally professional. I would recommend it. I just would recommend it with the caveat being, you have to be comfortable with what I'm telling you because that was what my experience was. And and then I was like, I can't make eye contact when I got up from the table. It was weird. It was just a weird, but it was.
Are you guys dating now?
No, it was amazing. I would absolutely go back again. There was nothing unprofessional.
Yeah, like one of the best massages you've ever had.
One of the best, nothing unprofessional, one iota. I have never had that kind of massage. And it was truly a full body massage. And it was, I feel great. Like I feel great.
Really?
Yeah.
The back is good?
Yeah, totally.
Wow, he's magic.
Yeah, but I mean, I couldn't. I was miserable. I mean, I was miserable. I was limping. I was cockeyed. Like, but yeah. Anyway, it was just a bizarre. It was just a bizarre situation. So anyway,
wow. And now Kim is refreshed. So no happy endings.
Well,
the happy ending is that your back doesn't hurt.
Yeah, but I went to a masseuse one time where they did my stomach. And right? I've never.
You didn't do your stomach?
No. And I'm okay with that. Like,
yeah,
I'm okay with that.
I'm too ticklish, first of all. And secondly, isn't it funny that like you can do my glutes, but when you do my stomach, it feels like too much. But no, this guy did my stomach if it's the same person.
Oh,
but
no.
I don't know. Maybe he was just trying to do my sides and my stomach was just rolling.
Yeah,
over.
I felt like there was like 10 pairs of hands on me. It was just all happening so quickly. Yeah, it was. Anyway,
that is funny.
Just wondered if I was the only one that has experienced that.
No, but it's hilarious because I'm gonna have to play this for Jeff because this exact same conversation. Like it's so good, but yeah.
So if you're listening and you've ever had a funky experience, questionable, Let us know on our Facebook page on Broadscast. Are we just Broadscast?
We're just Broadscast.
We've dominated Broadscast. Yeah, let us know, because I just don't want to be out here by myself. I don't want to be out here on my own.
Yeah, I know you guys got to tell her. All right, so Friday the 13th, right? We all know this. So first of all, I saw like the most beautiful rainbow this morning, which I think cancels out any sort of Friday the 13th juju.
Yeah,
I believe. So
it was a good. I did not see it. I think I said to you that it was behind my house, but it was like a good one, like a full.
Oh yeah, it was like you could actually do the whole Roy G. Biv. You know, like
do they do that anymore?
Red, orange,
I know what
yellow,
it is, but
green.
I know
blue,
they've made so many
indigo,
changes.
Violet. What?
Right. What do you remember when we were growing up? That like how you learned north, east, southwest. Do you remember the acronym? Never eat soggy waffles.
Oh, yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
So I tell my son that, and he's like, "What?" I'm like, "Come on, never eat soggy waffles." Like, what are you talking about? Or like the phrase for the planets.
Oh yeah.
My mother. I don't even know what they are. We'll have to look up.
That's funny.
What the planets are, but there was the whole thing about pizza. Like, and now they don't have Pluto anymore, so you can't do that.
Oh right.
But anyway, Roy G. Biv. That's how I remembered. No, that's how I. Okay, sorry.
So, but over on Twitter, it's trending the hashtag superstitious songs. Superstitious songs. Again, that's a tough one. And so people are like,
cat scratch fever.
Black cat scratch fever. See, that's what they would do. They would turn a song into
right.
superstitious.
Yeah.
So like one woman, Kesha posted, "I kissed a leprechaun and I liked it." Or like this other woman, Robin, posted "knock knock knocking on heaven's wood door."
Oh, that's funny.
So it was "wake me up before you go ghost."
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah,
I love when that happens on Twitter. I mean, they're very clever.
Billie Jean's not my clover.
Speaking of Billie Jean,
Tiki, don't lose that number.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, Tiki. Oh, I get it.
Row your boat.
So I could do black scratch fever. Is that already done?
Black cat scratch fever.
Oh, what did I say? Black cat? What did I say? Black cat?
You said, well, cat scratch. Yeah.
Yeah, black cat. Don't take it. That's mine.
I know.
I know she's already like she's typing away.
Tweet.
We could do it from the Broadscast account.
Anyway, I was enjoying that this morning. It was really fun.
Funny. So speaking of Billie Jean, I don't know the whole story, but did you see that there was a movie or a play or something about Michael Jackson?
Yes.
And Joseph Fiennes, the white actor, signed on to play Michael Jackson, but it's been pulled. Like there was such a backlash, not only from Michael Jackson's family, because I guess Michael Jackson years ago said he never wanted to have a white actor play him, but it was terrible. Did you see the video? See voices in my head. The video or the image of Joseph Fiennes, like
I did, and then also, it's totally. I'm looking up the story, but both Paris and Taj Jackson. Who is Taj?
He's a cousin. I don't know. Is that a brother? I don't know.
They were like, they spoke out against it and their disgust of it. And then Soledad O'Brien as well. I like that. It's total sidebar, but like Soledad O'Brien, I like how outspoken she is.
Yeah.
You know, she was never that way. I don't know. Just over the past year or so, I've noticed like on Twitter and stuff.
Oh my gosh. Excuse me.
Bless you. Some of the work that she's doing.
Yeah. But anyway, so it brought up a question for me because there's another actress who I'm completely forgetting her name right now, but she was signed on to play Nina Simone, the singer, and I guess the actress. Oh my God, I can totally picture. I'll have to look it up. She doesn't sing, and she's not the right ethnicity. Oh my God, are you going to look it up for me? And so there's like this public outcry.
Oh, Zoe Saldana.
Thank you.
Okay.
So, like, what do you think about that? Do you think that it should stay? Like that it only needs to be a white actor if it's a white person or a black person. Like, what do you think about that?
You know, I feel like
do you think there's something racially charged behind having Joseph Fiennes, regardless of what ended up becoming of that, like him being hired to play Michael Jackson as opposed to them immediately thinking, why are we not just having a light-skinned black person?
I feel like there are so many more opportunities, first of all, for light-skinned and white people in film. that when there are opportunities that are specific to, African Americans,
Right.
it does seem like a slap in the face to cast a white person. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
Michael Jackson is an iconic Black person. Whether the skin changed or whatever, like that can all be portrayed
Right.
in the film. But I think it's a slap in the face. I think that, it's not a secret that, African Americans and any people of color, Asians,
Right.
Latino people, like that they don't necessarily have the same number of opportunities as white people. So wouldn't it be a no-brainer that, like, are you telling me that Joseph Fiennes was so perfect for this role that, like, you had to dismiss thousands?
Isn't he British? Is he British?
I believe so.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw an image of it, and I was just like, I know that's happened before, and I can't right now think of all the other situations where that's come up, where they've distorted the ethnicity or the racial makeup of the person that they're portraying. But I don't know. I wonder about that.
Yeah, I just think that there were plenty of choices there, but I think that they also make some of these choices to get people talking about their movie.
Right.
And where's the line of people, having conversation about it and discussing it and totally going over the line where you then have to cancel it.
Right.
And it's a risk, but I mean, come on, like, aren't we at a place now where we're going to, that whole saying, and God, was it Oprah? I don't even want to quote Oprah, but when you know better, you do better. Like, better.
Right.
Do better.
But I think, like, with the whoever Zoldana,
Zoe Saldana.
Is she black? What is she? She's black, right?
No, I don't. I think
she's not.
I don't know her back.
Well, they're mad that she can't sing. I'm like, what? So what that she can't sing?
Well,
I mean,
that's so not.
Hello, New Year's Eve, Mariah Carey. What?
Okay, that's so funny. It's so funny that you say that, because we never even talked about this. So what are we now? January 13th. That whole Mariah Carey thing, that must have been impossible for her to hear.
Really?
Yes.
All the dancers managed to stay on tune. All the dancers behind her. And listen, I don't know. I don't care. She could have done something. I mean, she just walked around. I mean, I don't know. She's a professional. That's not the first time that's happened.
I'm not. Yeah. That was only half my point, but yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No. That's okay. But did you see the video of Adele, who was on stage, and like the whole like sound system went out?
Yeah.
And so she's singing in a concert, singing, and then the sound system goes out. So the crowd hears nothing.
Yeah.
Not her mic, not the band, nothing, right?
Okay.
She just keeps singing. Like, keep singing. They get it back on. She's exactly on where she's supposed to be. And then after, she's like, I'm not, like, she made some sort of comment that, it went out, but, and she, in her colorful language.
Right.
But she kept singing.
Right.
And because she knows the song.
Right.
And I think it's fascinating because, and she just said it to the front row, like, you guys heard me singing, like, you got your own private concert.
Right.
I just find, what's her name?
Mariah Carey.
Mariah Carey. To be, she's high maintenance. Everyone knows she's high maintenance. So
I know.
The more you set up these things to support you in concert or, performances, the more likely you are. Yeah, she just walked around in those heels.
Oh, it was so bad. The whole thing was bad. It was bad. I don't know.
It was terrible. But at the same time, she was just like, "Hey, this is what happened."
Okay, but stay on New Year's Eve. I know that we're going back in time, but did you see
go back in time?
See, it's very hard not to do it. Did you see, like, Don Lemon, the anchor from CNN, like become unhinged and wasted on camera? He was doing, he and I think it was Brooke Baldwin, who co-hosted the live countdown, I want to say, from New Orleans, and they were doing shots. She stopped at some point and he just kept going, and you can see him like become drunk on air, and he was like, "I love you, man," and he was like, I can't believe that they didn't pull the feed or
Wow.
I mean, yeah, it was kind of embarrassing. I mean, he got a piercing live on air. Like they taunted him into getting a piercing. So they went in and he got, yeah.
Oh my God.
And was it his chest or I forget where. But he just proceeded to get more drunk and drunk, and he was just
My friend is a producer over there. I'll have to ask her.
Oh yeah,
what it was like.
Anyway, and Brooke Baldwin was like, "I'm a little help here," and she's looking around. She's like, "Is anyone seeing this? Like,
how did I not see this?
Well,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. But,
hey,
because CNN's fake news.
Breaking news. I don't want to bum you out, but somebody just tweeted black cat scratch.
One of our listeners.
Right? I bet
what
that's
it is.
What it was.
One of our listeners.
Shamrock you like a hurricane. I love this. You guys, hashtag superstitious songs. Go over there and also if you hashtag Broadscast, we'll see your brilliance as well. If you're on the Twitter.
On the Twitter.
We're at Broadscast. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So speaking of the Twitter, how are you feeling about Trump these days?
Oh my God. Well, it was funny because I was like, I was ready to go march and, let my voice be heard. And then Nicole Kidman told me to, just accept it.
We just have to support him.
Nicole Kidman. I mean, once Nicole Kidman speaks and says we just have to support Trump, you really get a little bit of perspective.
We've talked a lot. We've talked a lot on the show
Is
about
she even American?
Well, she's a British American, right? Or
no, she's from Australia.
Oh, right. I forgot. I'm kidding.
She's a British American from Australia.
I was being sarcastic. Well, I told you that before we went live this morning that I put something on my Facebook page. I really try on Facebook to have nothing political because I'm not smart enough on a lot of things to cast an opinion live like that, except
and
here.
B, I'm not smart enough.
But I don't want the back and forth. I mean, it's very combative. It always has been. But I legitimately had a question the other day about confirmation hearings and like the purpose of confirmation hearings and really trying to understand. I did my due diligence. I searched online to try to understand. I get the logistics of it. Like I get, that you go before a committee, you get asked questions. Like I understand that. But in watching the confirmation hearings, because I had it on live all day long, I really found what I was watching to be contradictory of what I believed confirmation hearings were, because there's people on the committee who in my head, thought that they were supposed to be vetting the nominee for that cabinet position. And many times I just heard them praising the person and not really asking a question or insinuating that they're going to do whatever the person asking them a question was suggesting. Like, you're going to follow the law, right? Well, of course I'm going to follow the law. Okay, moving on. So I put this question out and people were trying to educate me on what it was. And then I posted something about healthcare because the other night after one of the days of the confirmation hearings, there was the beginning of Votorama. And that's when the Senate starts to put a bunch of things through and they vote in the middle of the night. Mm-hmm. And so I posted something about healthcare, some things that came up. I did my due diligence. I searched high and wide over a multitude of media outlets because I wanted to make sure that I wasn't choosing something that was slanted one side or the other. And then I got emailed saying, well, I talked to senators and they said what you wrote was wrong. I'm like, okay, and I'm thinking, but I watched live feed. I watched footage from the hearing. And so I'm trying to stay educated. I'm trying to have conversations. So
right. But was that person
Republican?
Yeah. But strongly
Republican.
Yeah. So, okay.
But given that, going back to the march thing, I'm torn too about the march. I want to be involved and I want to have my voice be heard, but I also feel like I'm met with such resistance from the other side. The people, going back to Nicole Kidman, she'd said, she tweeted that we just have to support him. I'm like, no, I don't. I don't have to just support him any more than I would just have to support Obama or Bush or Clinton. We're supposed to be holding our leaders to a set of standards. So yesterday, or after the Trump press conference, I tweeted that I thought there was a senator from, I don't even know where, Idaho or God knows where, that was calling for the reporter.
We love our listeners in Idaho, by the way.
Yeah. I just don't remember where he was from. But he tweeted that he was calling for the firing and the banning of Jim Acosta from CNN because of the exchange between Trump and CNN.
Right.
When Trump was telling me you're fake news, he continued to ask questions. Maybe Jim Acosta asked one too many questions and it pissed, Trump, whatever. Yeah. I watched it live. So I said, like, that's ridiculous. Like, First Amendment much? Like, he's in tight, like, right. And I got heckled. This woman, she's like, well, Obama did this. And I'm like, I'm not talking about Obama.
Right.
I have a standard for our president, regardless of what party they belong to, that you act maturely and you act like a leader.
That wasn't a press conference. If you're not open to the press
right.
from all different areas, then it's not a press conference.
Or you just ignore, or just behave differently.
He's disgusting.
So my point is,
See what
is
you're
like,
doing to me?
Here's my point. I had merely said I have an expectation for my leaders to behave in a certain way, like lead by example. And then I got met with, well, what about Hillary and what about Obama? What about this? I'm like, I had the same feelings then. But we didn't talk about this then. Right. I'm saying this now. Yeah. So why like this whole concept of like what's good for the goose, good for the gander, or two wrongs? Like I've never used those terms more often now than ever. Like why? Because something happened 20 years ago.
Wait, you're actually using the term "what's good for the goose"?
No, I don't even know how to say it, but I'm thinking
also good for the gander.
Yeah, but you know what? My point is like
welcome to Broadscast with me and my grandma.
You know what I'm saying? That I feel like it's very hard to have your voice be heard without being met with such. Yeah, I can't even have open dialogue.
For the weak. It's not for the weak. You cannot. It's everybody's looking for you to say something, for one to say something, so they can jump on it.
Yeah, and then it's based in nothing. Like I was sitting here and I'm thinking, Jim Acosta pushing for Trump to answer questions doesn't equal fake news. It's the opposite of fake news. When you're trying to get someone to answer questions, to get answers, to get to the truth, that is the opposite of fake news. So, and just because the story may have been misreported or one fact like was proven untrue after, like that doesn't make it fake news. And P.S., this isn't the day of fake news. Like, hello, National Enquirer. Like,
yeah, but well, first of all, I think the Enquirer gets more,
now, but National Enquirer was known for people sitting down with aliens for dinner.
Absolutely. And it was delicious. But I think that Trump throughout the entire, running for president, would totally talk about stuff that was not.
Yeah. A credible source.
Yes.
Yeah. He always had credible sources.
Yeah. And it was always like, oh, everyone says like that is one. It's so funny. I'm totally putting myself out there. But one of the things that really, 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 really got me as a kid and still is when like you get into an argument with somebody and they're like, everybody thinks this.
I know.
Because it's like.
I have an adult friend that used to do that to me. And I'm like, really? Who's everybody? And then they name one person. I'm like, oh, well.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And so it drives me crazy. But that's exactly what he does. Oh, yeah, I've talked to a lot of people. Everybody thinks that
many people, and they're all great. They're all good people. Yeah,
yeah. He only knows good people.
Well, but I think what I'm struggling with as we talk about the march is I really want to go be part of a movement. I need to get over the anxiety I have over being in big crowds, the fear I have of being bombed or gunned down or like run over with trucks. Like I start to think about these things. Like I can't help it. And then I have parental duties. My kid has stuff and I'm feeling conflicted, but regardless, like I feel like I had this conversation with someone yesterday. I know that I have the right to speak out, but I worry sometimes I don't have the power to, that I don't know what the power is behind it, because I think, that we get to a point that when we feel like we can't talk to somebody anymore because they're not listening, we stop talking. Like rather than figure out a different way to talk, we stop, and that's sort of what I'm finding like on Twitter. I know that's not a great place to have these kinds of conversations, but I'm very careful with what I say and what I write. And I admire that. Because I'm trying, because I when someone said to me, something about, well, you didn't, Obama, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I did speak out against Obama when he did certain things. I was very vocal when he said things publicly that I didn't think our president should be doing. I feel very strongly that if I'm going to hold one person to a standard, I hold them all to a same standard. Right. And so, but people are very quick to just say nasty things. They come at you. You know, they don't read everything. Like I had someone going after me. She didn't even read what I tweeted. She just went on a whole other thing. And I'm like, why are we arguing about this? Like
but that's what people do now. They see a headline.
Trump didn't have to answer. And I'm like, I'm not talking about Trump not answering the question. I'm talking about be a leader. Like evoke a sense of calm, evoke a sense of partnership, collaboration. I mean, he was equally as disrespectful as he claimed the reporter was, honestly. And if you listen to the whole press conference, he was interrupting people right and left, right? More to the women, more to the women. He was interrupting the women. But right as I was thinking that, he started interrupting other male reporters, but he was equally as disrespectful as he was claiming other people to be. I don't ever remember seeing that with other, Bush included. So it has nothing to do with parties.
Absolutely.
It's just, and so I'm sitting here and I'm like, I'm like banging my head against the wall, and I'm feeling frustrated. So going to a march, I feel like I don't know. I'm already around like-minded people. So I'm trying to figure out other ways that I can let my voice be heard. Yeah. And like I don't know. I'm not saying.
I just find it's historical. I mean, this is like unprecedented in the history of our country, of all these people. But you're absolutely right too.
Marches happen all the time. Like
but the day after an inauguration, in regards to and the diversity of the people who are going.
Yeah.
Even some of the most staunch Republicans that you and I know, some of them even on the air, are not pro-Trump.
Right. And that's okay too. People that are pro-party. I mean, that's where
I'm okay with that.
But that's where I get to with people, like, you know, basically, because I'm so tired of also being called a liberal. Like, that's just your liberal mentality. No, it's just my Kim mentality. Because sometimes I'm liberal, sometimes I'm conservative, sometimes I'm Democrat, sometimes I'm Republican. Like, this is just my mentality. And so to be categorized as a left-wing liberal because I have an expectation that the person in a leadership role act differently or better.
Right.
So there are lots of people that voted for Trump because they didn't want Hillary. There's lots of people that voted Republican because they wanted, like, whatever people's reasons are. But to call me a liberal then tells me that you think that behavior is acceptable. And so right out the gate, like, we're just not gonna,
right.
You know, Trump, you know, and I'm trying again to understand, like, you know, all these talks about, like, you know, repealing Obamacare, you know, and I'm arguing with people that think Obamacare is different than the Affordable Care Act. Like, this is who we're arguing. People think that they're different things. Like, wait, how did we get here? That you think Obamacare is different than Affordable Care Act?
Yeah.
What? So right out the gate, we're gonna have a misconnect, right? And I'm thinking, what are people not really concerned that he could repeal? It's never going to happen, I don't think. That he's going to repeal the entire thing without a replacement, because that would mean 30 million people without insurance,
right?
In a blink of
that's
an eye.
Quite possible.
Well, I don't even know that Republicans would be willing to do that, like to repeal it in an hour, like he said he's going to do, leaving 30 million people without insurance, without a plan.
They've already pulled away the pre-existing conditions.
Well, that's not officially voted. That Votorama thing, I don't think that's been. I think they're moving toward, because it has to go through certain steps.
I think it's hard to take things seriously when they call it Votorama.
Well, because they do it in the middle of the night and they just rattle things off. And they did another one last night that had to do with Social Security. And there was like,
they want to take our money.
Yeah, giving more money to Wall Street, which is interesting because that was the opposite of what Trump wants to do. But my point is that we're all operating in fear. You know, and a fear of the unknown. And even today, Trump was like, the Unaffordable Care Act is going to be gone immediately. And I'm like, what are you replacing it with? Like, because that impacts me. Like, I right. have that. What are you going to, like, I want to know how that impacts me.
Right.
And I think I'm feeling like, as a person who's desperately trying to be educated, I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated. And so part of me wants to go to the march because I want to be part of something historical, and I want to be part of people that, like, are on my team, but I also want to go. I want to be part of something that isn't necessarily just like-minded, because I want to be challenged, and I want to be part of something that forces me to do something different. You know, and so I don't know. I'm just it's hard to get any information that's actual, because everybody does have their, you know, including us. I mean, we talk constantly about, you know, our own views and things like that, but at the same time, I would be open to
discussing something that maybe is against, what we normally support. If I thought that, like, if Trump showed up, let's go back a little bit to Bush, right? It wasn't a
Which
huge
one?
Either.
Okay.
It wasn't. I don't lean to the Republican side. I'm on occasion.
Yeah.
I try to be issue specific, like
Right.
you. But I didn't think it was okay to raise kids that against the president, and all that. And I've talked about this before. I feel very strongly that we treat that office with respect,
right?
And and look at it in the way that, he's the leader of the free world. But when you have somebody like Trump who's like, no, fake news, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's embarrassing that I just can't get behind it. So, but if there were something that the Republicans were doing or the Democrats were doing or even Trump were doing that were positive, like, I'd love to talk about it. I'd love to show both sides of it. I feel like the media decides in advance what their stand is going to be. Like most of it, like whether it's Fox News or MSNBC or, one's liberal, one's conservative, and they so I hope that as a show, you and I can look at things kind of, objectively.
Right.
But he it's just so hard.
Because he's a buffoon.
Yeah.
I literally, like,
it's like an orangutan is running our country and we're supposed to, like, have respect for him,
But it's interesting because did you watch the Obama's farewell speech?
Some of it.
Okay. So I watched Obama's farewell speech, and it was interesting because Rabbi Shmuley, who we've talked about on the show, he's a pretty famous rabbi. He's, around the world. He's pretty controversial too. But he tweeted something about how Obama's speech was good and all, but it wasn't intimate enough. Like, it wasn't personal enough. And I kept thinking, I'm actually okay with that because I don't want to hear him pat himself on the back. Like, and so when you watched, for me, that's my opinion.
Yeah.
But I felt, watching his speech, I felt included. I felt like part of it. I felt us. He never said I. It was always we. It was always us. Community, citizens. Like, it was very, like, I felt like, yes, I am part of this. Like, and then you turn on to Trump, and I get they're different people. There are different purposes behind it. I totally get that. But there was not one part, even Donald Trump referring to himself as Donald Trump for half the press conference, which was bizarre.
So gross.
And my people are great. I could do everything. I could run my business and run the country, but I'm not going to do that. But I could, because I'm the best. Like, and I sat there and I'm like, who are you? Why are you here? Like, I didn't feel any sense of civic duty except to resist. But, like, I sat there and I was like, okay, Kim, just be open. And everything felt gross to me. And then this morning he tweets that my people will figure out what really happened, with the FBI. And I'm like, there are people. Those cabinet are supposed to be our people. And it shouldn't be based on what your Republican.
It's all ego.
But when you put people in cabinet positions or you put people in intelligence positions, they're not supposed to be doing their job based on their party. They're supposed to be in the safety of the country, like, and in the best interest of the country as a whole. And so when he says my people will figure it out, no, first of all, there are people. And secondly, why would it be different? The truth is the truth, regardless of whose people or whose side you're on. And so even there, he's like, my people are better. My people. Like, and those are government positions that are like the FBI and the CIA is not supposed to be a partisan position.
Right.
And so I'm like, he's like, and I feel like, oh my God, this is 4 years of like talking about how he wants everybody to feel included.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just,
it's a big reality show.
But it frustrates me because I'm desperately trying to be educated, and I'm finding myself being so frustrated. And I'm finding that I'm also like, I don't know what to believe. I don't know what, I read so much and it's so convoluted that I don't even know what's truth anymore.
That's the thing. I've just given up. I've stopped reading.
That's what happens.
Because we have the same amount of
knowledge.
And
so people become complacent, and then we're right back. And so there's like this vicious cycle, So if I'm always surrounding myself with like-minded people, I'm always hearing the same rhetoric, right? Which
Right.
is why we started Broadscast, because we don't want to hear ourselves talk like I'm doing for the last 10 minutes. But like, because I'm frustrated,
Right.
you know, and as a woman in my mature years, I'm really trying to.
Okay, you're 45.
I know.
You're
but
not that mature.
I'm trying not to say older. I'm saying maturer, more sophisticated. Anyway, I don't know.
We'd love to hear what you guys think. And head over to Facebook and join our Broad Squad and
another massage.
Broad Squad group and talk to us. How do you deal with all this information? Even if you are, I would love to be connected. I know this sounds crazy, but with more pro-Trump people so I can understand why. I really want to understand.
And I want to know if you're pro-Trump or just Republican,
Right.
or anti-Democrat. Like I think there's a difference, because I know a lot of people that voted for Trump because they didn't want her, or they didn't want a Republican. I mean, a Democrat. They didn't support him,
Right.
but the Republican ideas.
Right.
And I think there's a real distinct difference there.
Right.
But either way, I mean, I know plenty of people that are Trumpeteers, and quote him, verbatim. So I don't know. I think this is such an interesting time in our lives, and I think that either people are going to become inundated and immersed in whatever they can find so they can understand, or they're going to become completely complacent, which is how we ended up here to begin with, because people felt detached from government and they didn't feel like they were represented. And so I think we're either going to keep perpetuating that because people are like, he's too crazy. I can't follow along.
Right.
Or it's going to force people to be so vested, which is never a bad thing.
Right. Right.
Hey,
stay with us. We're going to be right back in about 5 seconds.
Subscribe to Broadscast on iTunes.
Welcome back. What'd I tell you? 5 seconds.
I was counting. One Mississippi.
Hey, so if you're just tuning in, you're listening to Broadscast with Kim Goldman and me, Jackie McDougall. And today's sponsor is audible.com. Head over to audibletrial.com/broadcast and you can get a free audio download as well as a free month trial of Audible, which you can listen to so many thousands of books on. They used to call books on tape.
Oh my God, I remember that.
Now you can just get them on your phone or your iPad or...
Do you still have tape deck? We don't have tape decks in the car anymore.
No. Oh, the studio phone is ringing.
Oh.
Sorry, we're live on the air.
Wrong number.
We're not going to take that one. So,
That's funny.
You talked about how to kind of use your voice in a creative or a different way, that you're not really positive.
Yeah.
How to use it. Well, this Virginia man, right, was sick of the local DMV wasting his time.
Yeah.
So he decided to pay the sales tax on his 2 cars with wheelbarrows full of
pennies. Oh,
Did you see this?
I've heard that before. Yeah, bank fees. People come in, like credit card fees.
I love it.
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3, 4. I see 5 wheelbarrows in the photo. Go Nick Stafford. So he's been fighting with the DMV in Virginia. It took 5 wheelbarrows, it says, to transport the nearly 300,000 coins to the local DMV. All the pennies broke the coin counting machine and ultimately had to be counted by hand. They can't turn you away. Because I know when I go to the bank with change, they're like, yeah, go roll them. Like, they won't even accept it at the bank.
Yeah.
So he tried to call the local office to, apparently he owns multiple houses. And so he wanted to know where to register his car and was getting the runaround. And so he decided to pay that way. So I love that guy.
Funny.
I love that guy. They'll never forget him. They'll never mess with Nick Stafford again. Hey, have you guys ever done something crazy like that, listeners?
It's funny because all I'm doing is trying to figure out how much money he owed. I'm like, okay, there's 300.
You should do that with
300,000.
Oh yeah, it was like almost.
I was like, I'm like, wait, what's the math of it?
It was almost $3,000.
Yeah, I know.
$2,987.14. So you should do that with your HOA because if you've ever listened to the show, you know that Kim and her HOA.
I'm just gonna give him Monopoly money. Yeah. No, we're kumbaya right now.
You are?
Well, they haven't annoyed me in a while.
That's good.
Yeah. So far so good. 2017. 13 days in. I'm.
See, 13 days in.
Yeah. Woo!
It's a whole new world.
Yeah.
So that's I loved that story of that guy. I'm just looking for some trending topics. So did you see the whole, I mean, not to go back to politics, but did you see the Joe Biden thing with Obama?
I did.
I love their bromance so much.
Yeah. Joe Biden,
he's everything.
I've been paying attention to Joe Biden, obviously, because he's the vice president, but he also has done some incredible work for women and for sexual assault. And so I'm keen on his commitment over and above the other things. But like I didn't watch it live. I had it on, but I wasn't watching. The moment where the President Obama brought out the military onto stage and then presented him with the Medal of Honor, like to see Joe Biden's reaction, just pure, like, oh my God, like I was totally crying. Like I was like, that is beautiful. It was a beautiful moment. You can see in Joe Biden's reaction how humble he was.
That guy's amazing.
And I
don't know anybody who says anything about Joe Biden negative. It's like everything he's been through, to lose his wife and his kid and do you know all that stuff?
No.
Yeah. When he was younger. Now I'm going to look it up. So he was married before Jill.
Oh.
And they were in a car accident.
Oh no, I don't think I knew that. Yeah. No, I don't think I knew that.
His wife and his 13-month-old daughter.
Oh.
And that was in 1972.
Oh.
And then, a couple years ago, lost his son, Beau.
Right.
To brain cancer, I think.
Right.
And he just, I don't know. It's just one of those people where, and then he keeps fighting for what he believes is right.
Right.
He doesn't, I don't know. I love him.
Yeah.
I love you, Joe Biden.
It's been interesting. There was the Chicago Cubs, the champions,
the world champion Chicago Cubs. Weird words.
They're
to say
going.
Together,
yeah,
still.
They're going to the White House next week before Trump leaves off. Before Obama leaves office, which is breaking with tradition because they normally wait till the new season starts to go visit the White House, but they don't want to go under Trump.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So how does that work? Does Obama have to leave the keys by the end of the day, 19th? You know what
I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Today's the 13th. The inauguration's on the 20th. So not that he's going to live there or anything, which is so weird. But, it's just funny how that works. They have to I would think do a lot of work.
They do. So I think it happens. I think I was watching something. What was I watching? I was watching something where they do it over the weekend. It's like they because the incoming, and there's been actually a ton of stories online about how the White House staff welcomes the incoming first family. The first family that comes in are supposed to be able to go through the house and the parts that they live in, they're allowed to make changes to, art and style to make it more comfortable for them. So then the White House staffers are supposed to come in and just transform it over a period of over a weekend so that when they come in, all of their stuff is there, their toiletries, their whatever. I mean, literally. So that's what's supposed to happen. But since Trump's not moving in, I guess they have a little bit more time. I don't really know, but
I'm sure he's not going to just let them, not do it though.
No, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's part of the tradition.
Right.
And then, so I don't know, but
and then Ivanka is actually going to be moving her family there
to DC because her husband Jared Kushner is going to be a very high ranking advisor to the president.
But they're not going to live in the White House?
No, but everyone's saying that, she's going to basically be assuming the role of first lady because Melania. Yeah. But no, they're not living in the White House. Mm-mm. Not as far as I read or saw.
Right. That's so wild.
Yeah.
I mean, how did we get here?
Yeah.
It really feels like a joke still being played on us.
So I was reading yesterday that they, for the inauguration, so Trump has been going on and on about how It's going to be the best ball. It's going to be the greatest ball ever. The inauguration ball. It's going to be the best event. That they ran out of gowns in Washington D.C. because so many people are wanting to go to the ball, and then all of the boutiques in D.C. yesterday came out like, no, we got plenty of dresses, people, which was funny to me. But there was an article yesterday that says there were the bus companies, the like charter bus companies, 200 bus companies have applied for additional parking lots or like secure parking lot permits for the inauguration day for the 20th. 1,200 bus companies have applied for secure parking, the same permits for the January 21st Women's March. And so it was interesting because there was like the stark difference between...
Wait, say that again. Compare those numbers again.
So 200 buses for inauguration day, 1,200 buses for the Women's March the day after.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because people are going to be coming from,
and there are lots of people that are leaving. There was I forget, it was on Politico or I forget what article. Lots of people in DC that are leaving. They don't want to be there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I am scared. I am scared for what's going to happen those days at some of these marches. And I don't mean just, I don't know. It just seems like, can you have these areas so secure, and protected the way they need to be there's so many just people are, so emotionally charged,
right? That
you think that it's only going to be.
Well, no, look at what happened during the campaign, during the rallies, people were being harassed and accosted and fights, riots, I hope that doesn't happen. I wish it didn't happen during the campaign because I think that, even during the confirmation hearings, there were people that got in that were protesting in the back and got yanked out. Like I said, I was watching, people are allowed to do that. I hope it doesn't become violent.
Right.
I think it dilutes your message when you evoke violence into it. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Even listening to like they showed in Trump's press conference, like the pile of, is it vanilla envelopes, folders?
Yeah, the folders.
I'm like, there were stacks. I don't know if you saw, but there were stacks and stacks. And he's like, all of these folders represent the lengths that we've gone to sever my ties to my businesses. I'm like, really? It was like 4 feet high. So
somebody said they were empty.
Well, they wouldn't let the media look at them.
Yeah.
I'm like, really?
Yeah.
So why wouldn't we be like, you can't even
look at his taxes, can't look at those.
Well, nobody cares about that. Come on now.
Well, no, they do because they do because of the ties, not because of the money.
Right. They want to know everything.
Yeah.
So, but he's been so, not transparent about anything.
Yeah.
But, and I was listening to the whole thing about the conflict of interest that he kept saying. He's like, president can't have conflict, and I'm like, he's interpreting that very differently than every other president. And listen, the statute was written in a kind of a sloppy way that I guess you could interpret that the president can't have he's immune to having conflicts. He can have them, but he doesn't have to do anything about it. Every other president's like, I can't have a conflict, meaning I'm going to sever things that would in any way look like I'm doing something bad.
Right.
He's the only one that is interpreting it this way, that conflicts don't apply to him. Like the rules of conflict don't apply to him. And I'm just thinking, even there, like,
yeah.
So it's like you don't know what you're getting. You don't know what you're getting. And
Yeah. So, well, today we kind of
I didn't mean to be.
Swatted around.
I know. I'm so sorry.
But we swatted around some broad topics and breaking news and trending topics, I should say. The remainder of the month, we've got some great guests coming up. So you definitely are going to want to tune in because we're getting back to talking with some outspoken, amazing, brilliant, inspiring, funny, all of it, broads. And, I'm really looking forward to doing that. So if you want to connect with us, as you do, head over to iTunes to subscribe to Broadscast, as well as hit us up on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and then not Snapchat because we're in our 40s and we try. Oh, I posted on Snapchat.
You did?
One
I missed
picture.
It. Yeah. I really quickly, because I know we're going off air, I joined Snapchat because I wanted to spy on my kid. Yeah. Which I realized you really can't do. You can't spy on your kid. But The only fun I have on there is those ridiculous voice changing filters.
Yeah.
And I communicate with my boss through Snap. It's hilarious.
Oh, that's perfect.
It's dangerous. With wine, it's dangerous. It's very dangerous.
Yes, I'm noticing lately that you shouldn't drink wine before you do anything online. That's my 2017.
Unless you're on Snapchat with those filters, because they're hilarious.
Yeah, I like to take the filters. I could look hideous and then put one of those little filters on.
Seriously, I said that the other day. I'm like, I wish I could get my eyelashes to look like this in person, in
right?
real life. This is pretty. I'm pretty.
Exactly. So thanks for listening, and we will definitely catch you next time.
Peace out.
You are listening to Broadscast. For more from the Broads, head to broadscast.com.